you here today because I want to add my voice on the ongoing discussion around the Mau eviction and the politics around the Mau forest. And most of you, first of all, to bring to your attention, I think remember the effort that we put in the 10th Parliament. I know Felix was there at that time. I can see quite a number of my friends who are there, even this gentleman who is here. And they covered quite a number of questions that I brought personally to the floor of the House. And I remember we took the former Prime Minister head on regarding the issue of the Mau during the coalition government. And one thing that all leaders agree is that the Mau complex must be reserved for the sake of the future of our children and grandchildren. However, the point of departure are how the program should be implemented. At that time, all of us, and up to today, we must agree that the eviction must be done in an inhuman way that will ensure that the residents living in the forest land are removed and resettled elsewhere. But there are very hard questions. These very hard questions I want to raise are questions, I am raising these questions because I was among many leaders who vigorously campaigned against the coalition government, against Raila, against anybody else who attempted to evict the people of Mau at that time. But there are questions. We used the Mau issue maximally. We raised this issue in the floor of the House. We went to Mau because we felt at that time the way it was being handled by the government then, it was unfair. It was inhuman. But 7 years down the line, the same Mau crisis still exists. So then I want to ask the first question. Where is the report? Where is the report of the 21-member task force on the conservation of Mau that was launched in July 2008 by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga? It had a 4 months mandate. From 2008, no one is telling us where is the report. And when the position of the Prime Minister ended in 2013, the docket on Mau restoration, which was domiciled, was moved to the Deputy President's office. And the question is, what has he done to ensure that the program of restoration and resettlement is concluded? One of the officers who still works in his office, Mwazera, was a member of this committee. We want this report to be made public by the Deputy President's office because it had recommendations. And then another question. When we made noise in 2010, 2009 and 10 on resettlement of the Mau, I remember there was a time that the Prime Minister went and attempted to plant trees. Na hapo ndio ilisemekana alichezwa na Kibaki. Kibaki alimfichia White. What happened after that is that the government, the coalition government, started resettlement process. And I guess, and it can be confirmed that there was money for resettlement. And this money, we were told in the National Assembly that the government had gotten 18 billion to resettle these people and conserve Mau. I think the money was coming from UNEP or any other organization that the government had engaged. The money was to resettle the people out of Mau and to fence Mau, to secure, and to plant trees. The first resettlement was done, and the first group of people were settled in Wazingishu. Second resettlement was done in Kericho County currently. Since another group was also settled in Nakuru County. Since that time up to today, we've not had any effort and sustainable program to resettle the people of Mau. Now, I've got issues to raise. Before we talk about even the coalition or the government that we have today, the issue of Mau is affecting, I'll be blunt to say, it is affecting our people. And it did not start today. It started long time ago. One of the reasons that we had to form the government with our friends, and I have heard many people talk about one of the issue was Mau. Today, one of our own is occupying senior most position in government. Not only one, but quite a number. The Kalenjin community, they've got the deputy president in government. We have the leader of majority in the Senate. We have a good number of the cabinet secretaries in the cabinet. Before we start even engaging about what is the contribution of other people in government, we want to ask these people, with the positions that has been bestowed upon you by the community, because the community gave you these positions because they've got interest. How far have you gone or utilized the position to address the challenges that the people are facing? That is the very fundamental question that the people of Mau and the people of Rift Valley are asking people who are occupying these positions. It is very sad that the same people who are occupying these positions are crying, are going back to Mau to cry. Are the position too big for you to handle? Or you have negated on the responsibility that was expected of you on these positions? And if the positions are too big for you to handle, the challenges that these people are facing, it is high time that you soul search and you consider even quitting these positions. I've heard many people talk about that the coalition, that if the Mau issue is not handled properly, it is going to either break or make Jubilee. I want to agree that perhaps maybe that can be another school of thought. But first of all, before we discuss about break or make Jubilee, can we agree that the Jubilee government was a coalition of two groupings, and each came with its own challenges? There was one group by Uhuru Kenyatta, which came with the issues of coffee and the SME challenges. And we've seen Uhuru addressing the issue of coffee, setting up coffee fund. We've seen Uhuru waking up very early in the morning, going to Nyamakima, Kikomba, to address the crisis of small, medium enterprises when they are in crisis. We want to agree, yes, we came into this government with our share of challenges, including Mau crisis and maize issues. I have never seen Deputy President waking up in the morning and visiting the people of Mau. We only wait until the last day when there is election. Then we make a visit to Mau. It is high time that he has to rise to the occasion and understand that the government was formed out of the interest of our people. It is high time that he speaks on the challenges that the people of Rift Valley are going through. We were here addressing the issues of maize. Now, if the president has tried to address the challenges of the people that matter most, if people want to agree that there was a coalition of that kind, it was a coalition of interest, we also want to put to the leaders that we have today in the positions that what effort have you put in place to ensure that there is resettlement? Because the thing is that Mau has to be conserved, but at the same time, the people who are there, assuming they don't have even the legitimate document, they are called squatters. Government cannot kill or evict the squatters. It must resettle these people in an alternative land. And the program was there. The money was there. Who took the money? Already the first groups, 2-3 groups were resettled elsewhere, in Cape Kabus, in Soin, in Rongai. Why do we have to wait? And in fact, it is high time that we also pose another question. Does politicians want to use the Mao crisis for political selfish gain of 2022? Why do they have to introduce Uhuru Kenyatta's name in this? Yet we have a coalition of 2 people. When someone is in Central Province, he wants to remind us that I am the co-principal. When you come to Rift Valley, then you send sycophants to attack the president. We must tell each other the truth. We have become a laughingstock as a community because we are a community that is in government, but what is happening is that we are complaining every day. When it came to the issues of maize, for us to have sorted out the issue of maize, we had to demonstrate. We had to lobby farmers. It was never discussed in cabinet. When it comes to the issues of Mao, it is the same issue. They sit in cabinet. He should have introduced this one as an agenda. So I want to question, these people, because they keep on talking about blaming the government. It is not the time to blame the government. We must tell each other the truth, and the people who are occupying these positions at the interest of the community should come out and speak. I expected Murkomen to have brought the matter to the Senate for it to be discussed and find a solution. I expected them, there is a Rift Valley caucus. I had the chairman even of Rift Valley members of parliament yesterday talking about this issue, how the government is mishandling the process. They are telling the president that the president must even donate his own land. But then before even we go there, one of our own is spending 20 to 50 million a week in donations, which runs to 200 million in a month, which in a year is almost 2.4 billion. That is enough money to resettle the people of Mao. So instead of even donating the money to the churches and doing fundraising and blessing the sycophants and keeping them alive, he should set the money aside every week and resettle the people of Mao. That is the leadership that we are calling for at this time. We are not going to be taken for a ride anymore. And by the way, in 2002, the same people persuaded Kenyans to vote for KANU so that they can address the issue of Mao. The same people persuaded Kenyans and Kalenjin to vote for ODM in 2007 to sort out Mao. The same group persuaded Kenyans in 2013, I included, so then we can have a government that will address the issue of Mao. The same people, I included 2017, we persuaded again the same Kalenjin to vote for this government to sort out Mao. So we want to again persuade the same people to vote for us in 2022 so then we can come and sort out this issue? Is it not a hypocrisy? So we are using this thing as a political tool. We must now see solutions. What we are calling is that any effort by the government to evict these people must stop. I want to challenge the cabinet to come up with a joint communique, because there is no communication so far from the cabinet about this issue. And I want to also call our leaders who are going to demonstrate that that is not the way to go. They have caucuses. Can they go and have meetings? And then we sort out this issue instead of becoming an issue of blame game. We need to sort out the Mao issue once and for all. I've had people even trying to raise the issue of Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Where is Raila Odinga? He's a leader of opposition. And by the way, when people want to talk about the crisis in handshake between Raila and President has brought many changes, positive changes in Nyanza for the less than 2 years. We've had handshake between Uhuru and Ruto for the last 8 years. Is this the crisis? that we are talking about. So in fact, it is not now the handshake. The challenge is in the individual. It is the person. It is the priorities. What we have seen is that they've used the position that they have in government to enrich themselves and to negate on the welfare of the people they are supposed to serve. What is happening in Rift Valley today? We were being told of state-of-art referral hospitals. They are not there. We were being told about the issue of the bypasses and the interchanges. Compensation alone has been interfered by the same people, by the same cartel. So nothing is moving. In Rift Valley, we've got crisis, the stadia, the same interference.